MBA was always there at the back of my mind.
What's Holy Trinity? Is that ABC?
My mom, she's an engineer and she takes tuitions at home for mathematics.
Why MBA? I mean, there are loads of other things also that you could do.
And I went into the exam center with no expectations, completely free mind. I wasn't expecting calls, but I did get them. And after I got the calls, I was like, okay, now it's here. Now I'll do everything in my power to convert these calls into.
I think the topic of our video should be I gave up Hoska shopping to get into IIM. Why MBA? I mean, there are loads of other things also that you could have done.
So MBA was always there at the back of my mind. It was more like, okay, after graduating, I'll work for 2-3 years and then do an MBA. When I went into college, when I saw the kind of roles my seniors were getting placed into, the job packages there, I just felt like it wasn't for me. Like, for example, the roles come to campus on the JD, it would be fashion consultant, right? So it sounds very fancy. You would think, they're going to be advising VVIPs about fashion and they're going to be stylists for them. But then when you actually read the fine print, you'll realize the role is actually for your store, stuff. It's just packaged in a very nice way. And the CTC also wasn't that great. And I felt that maybe this wasn't for me. So why not just, prepone my MBA plan and do it then itself, immediately after an MBA. And I decided I am going to do it in my first attempt, no taking a gap year because I did not want to work. And I felt like I was too young. My course was 3 years and I was only 20 when I graduated. And I felt I wasn't ready to work or get into the corporate system yet. And that's why MBA.
How did you reach from the Y MBA to actually reaching IIM Ahmedabad? Tell us that journey. How did you prepare? Did you prepare with someone else? Did you get motivation about CAT and maybe GMAT, whatever you gave? How did that happen?
So, like I mentioned before, since my college was online, I was at home. So, my only task was to focus on college and make sure my grades are not dropping and study for CAT. So, it was pretty simple and straightforward, and I chose to prepare on my own because I felt very confident in my VARC and DILR skills. But quant, which is mathematics, was slightly challenging for me because I did fashion. Even though I had maths till 12th standard, I didn't really like that topic. But fortunately for me, my mom, she's an engineer and she takes tuitions at home for mathematics for up to the class 12 level. So every time I had a question or if I got stuck somewhere, I would immediately go to her and be like, how do I solve this? For her, it was pretty simple. Even if it was from a topic that she didn't really know much about, she would actually go through entire playlists of that particular topic in YouTube, and she would tell me the solution. And this was the case even after I went back to college after the lockdown was lifted. I would send her like a picture of like the question, and maybe a couple of hours later, she would send me like a video explanation, telling me how to solve it. When I gave the CAT attempt, I decided I will give it another year, give it another shot because 2 months before the exam, the lockdown was lifted, so I had to go back to college. I was in the hostel, and studying in the hostel environment is extremely difficult because you're sharing the room with like 3 other girls who have their own things to do. It's extremely noisy. And every weekend, your friends are always pinging you for plans, telling you, let's go to Hoskas, let's go clubbing this weekend. It's very difficult to say no to them, especially after two years of, lockdown. So I told my parents, like this is not happening. I can't do it. And I chilled for like a month and a half. But unfortunately or fortunately, my flights that weekend to home for the exam was already booked. So my parents said, why don't you just come, give the exam, chill at home for 2 days, and then go back. It's just fine. The tickets were non-refundable. I get a weekend at home, and I said okay, and I went. Before the exam, I just brushed up on everything that I learned. Went through all my notes, and I went into the exam center with no expectations, completely free mind, and fortunately, it worked out for me. I wasn't expecting calls, but I did get them, and after I got the calls, I was like, okay, now it's here. Now I'll do everything in my power to convert these calls into.
I mean, I think the topic of our video should be I gave up Hoska shopping to get into IIM. How many calls did you get and from where and all that?
So the only Holy Trinity call I had was A.
What's
Apart from
Holy
that, I had
Trinity?
all
Is
the other
that
calls.
ABC? I'm hearing all these
ABC, yeah.
new lingos. Of course, I mean, Holy Trinity or whatever else it was called. Yes, ABC and L and all that, back in the 90s when we did it.
Yeah.
And now I recently
Mhm.
heard Black Keys and Baby IIMs and all those new lingos. So yeah. So out of ABC, you got only
Mhm.
A.
And so you wrote your regular CAT, not the GMAT entrance, right?
Like,
Okay.
okay, I think so.
Okay. And IIM Ahmedabad fees right now are like by the time you graduate, you're like 50 lakhs in fees, right? Both the years combined.
No, no, it's not that much. It's around 24 to 26 lakhs. But then a lot of students did get scholarships from the state government, from the state, from I think I got around a lakh and a half from the Tamil Nadu government to cover these expenses. The college institute itself has a lot of scholarships that students can apply to. So fees wise, I think they try to make it easier for everyone, and of course there are a bunch of loan options that also people can go for.